global change is a function which allows you to make changes to several records at the same time. This allows you to change one field at a time in that group of records. The basic process is search for the group of records that you'd like to change. This might be a group of resource records or copy records perhaps. Once you've located the group of records you'd like to change, you then select which field you'd like to change. The example I'm going to be using today is I'm going to be searching for a group of copy records in a certain collection that don't have a cost attached. I'm then going to globally change that cost to be a standard value. So I'd search for my copy records collection with a cost of 0. I'd select the cost field I'd like to change. Then I'd select the new value of the field. So what would I like to change those copies without cost to be? I might say $10. So I'll put in 10. Once you've put the values in, you've got a confirmation screen. So you've got a couple of ways of getting out if you're not confident or if you're not sure if you've done what you want to do. Let's have a look at that itself. I'll go back into Oliver again. I'll return to the management screen. I'm currently in the search screen, so I'll return to management. And what I'm going to do is go to the copies area and locate all the junior fiction items which don't have a cost attached. I'll go to cataloging. I'll move to copies. And first of all, I'll choose a collection of junior fiction. So from the collection drop-down list, just highlight junior fiction. I'm suggesting doing one collection at a time because you might have different rules for different collections. You might have a rule that junior fiction items have an average cost of $10. Teacher reference might have an average cost of $80. So it might be different collections at different values. You can select more than one collection at a time by using the control key on the keyboard and clicking. So I could click fiction and junior fiction and undo it the same way. Hold down the control key and click. I'm just going to choose one section today, which is junior fiction. Now here's the tricky part. We'll make sure we include this in the notes as well. In the any words field, I'm going to search for cost. Just type in the word cost. It's not case sensitive, so it can be upper or lower case. Equals. Then a quotation mark. 0, full stop, 0, 0. And another quotation mark. Cost equals 0. So that's saying anything in the junior fiction collection which has a cost of 0, I'd like to locate them. Now, why would some copies not have costs? During the cataloging process, whoever's cataloging at the time may have neglected to put a cost in, or maybe you'd just like to standardize all the costs perhaps. Once you've entered cost as 0, then start the search by clicking the magnifying glass in the top left-hand corner of the screen. And in my training system, I have 219 items that don't have a cost attached, or have a cost of 0. Now, if I didn't use global change, I need to go to each record individually, click the edit icon on the right-hand side, and change the costs individually, which would be quite a large process. Now, the reason why I'm putting cost on my copies is because when I produce overdue notices, I produce an overdue notice which includes the cost. And it looks much better to have a cost attached to the overdue notice rather than having 0, and might convince people that they need to bring the resources back, a bit of a scare tactic perhaps. So of the 219 items, I'm now going to use global change to change them to say $10. There's two ways I can select global change. I can either select the global change icon at the top of the screen, or from the copies menu on the right hand side I can choose global change. Notice the icon next to global change is exactly the change as the icon at the top of the screen. So either way will behave exactly the same way. Once you select global change, on the screen it does display record count. So again you can see, yes, 219 items, that's how many items are going to be changed. You then need to select a field. Now it's important that you select the correct field. Click on the arrow drop down list, and in this case I'm going to choose cost. Make sure you choose the right field. If you choose the wrong field, you will globally change the wrong field. It'd be disastrous if you chose the barcode field and changed them all to 10. That wouldn't be very good at all. Another little tip here is notice that cost is highlighted at the moment. Move the mouse off the cost field and click anywhere so it's not highlighted anymore. The reason why I mention that is because some people use the scroll wheel on their mouse. If you use the scroll wheel on your mouse and you scroll, sometimes it will change the value of the field. So even though you selected cost, you might inadvertently choose another field. So just to be safe, move your cursor aside and click just to make sure it's definitely the cost field. Last couple of steps, the from value. We're going to choose the from value being any current value. So in other words, any of the 219 records I've selected, regardless of what the cost field is, I'm going to change it. Remember, we search for cost equals 0, so we know what we're after. Finally, the to value. The to value has two options, blank or specified value. We're going to choose specified value. We're going to make the specified value just 10. No need to enter dollar symbol, no need to enter different full stops or zeros, etc. If there's 10.95, you could type in 10 full stop 95. I'm just going to make it a round dollar amount, which is 10. Once you've entered the values, double check. Yes, I've got the right number of records. Yes, I've selected the right field. The from value is any value, I'm okay with that. And make sure the specified value is exactly what you want. Once you're satisfied that you've entered the correct values, click the Go button in the top left-hand corner. Looks like a little small triangle, looks like a play button. If you have any doubts whatsoever, click the cross to stop at this stage. You can back out the stage if you need to. Click Go in this case. You're about to perform a global change against this set of issue records or copy records. Do you wish to proceed? If this stage you're still not confident, you can click Cancel. Otherwise, click OK. And my 219 records have changed. So the global change is a very fast process. Even for a large number of records, it's quite fast. For a couple of thousand records, yes, it would be a little slower, but as you see, it's quite fast. Click the Return to Result, and taken back to my 219 records. To have a quick check to make sure the change has been made, just click on one of the records. I'll just click on the record number 1. I can see the cost is now 10. Using my next and previous icons at the top of the screen, I can go through the records one at a time, and I can see that the cost field is 10. If I go back to list copies, I can see, yes, I was looking at copy number 4 last. Another check you could do is you could sort them into cost order. If I choose the Sort button, the double-headed arrow, I'll sort them by cost. I'll just choose cost from the drop-down list. Select it by clicking to the left-hand side. So I'm sorting by cost. Now in theory, if everything's the same cost and they're sorted by cost, the cost at the top of the list should be the same as the cost at the bottom of the list. So I'll click on Sort, and they'll all be there. Let's go back to my list of records. And then when I click on any records, the top record is $10. Click on List Copies, go to the last record in the list, and the last record in the list, which is record 219, if I click on that, it's $10 as well. The top and bottom records are both $10, which means everything in between must be $10 because they're in cost order. So that's demonstrating one use of the global change, searching for copies in a particular collection without a cost. Be very careful using global change because it changes records very quickly and easily, and it's almost impossible, if not impossible, to undo the change if you make a disastrous mistake. Use it very carefully.